So you're deciding whether this is the relationship for you.
What?
No, this is the relationship for you.
Okay.
You're deciding, is this relationship I want to be in or not? And that's a very scary place to be in.
Our video today is basically on the premise, too bad to stay, too good to leave. So you may be asking yourself this question, is this the right relationship for me based on the things that have happened? It's something I'm comfortable with, it's something that I'm used to being in, but is this the one? So we have 5 quick questions for you that are going to help you determine whether the relationship you're in right now, because you're already debating it, is the one for you.
Disclaimer, if you're experiencing any sort of emotional or physical abuse, you should leave that relationship. This is not going to be talking about that. But yeah, please find support, leave that relationship. This is more still an important issue, but less serious than that, of course.
And again, we're not counselors, but we love talking about our relationship, building a stronger one. We have another video that we will post up right below for you to watch it, as well as our social links, so you can fall in love with our journey. I didn't even mean to say that way. Just came out like that. Below. But I think, Scott, it's time to get to this video.
Let's do it.
The first question that we want you to ask yourself is the state of now. So the relationship that you are currently in, the state that it is right now, here's the question. Would you enter a relationship in the state that it is right now in your current relationship? So the way that you guys interact on a daily basis, if you were single and you were just about to start to date this person, would you enter into a relationship that was at that point?
I love that. And you told me that the other day, and I thought that was very profound, because I've had friends say that before, and maybe you've experienced this too in your own relationship or in someone else's, where they kind of make that excuse where they're like, it was so good in the beginning. Or like 3 months ago, it was so great. It was the summer and everything was so good. I'm trying to figure out how to get back there. And the thing is, you're not right there. It's now. And sometimes we can chase the past and try and get that, but it might not ever be like that.
Yeah.
So the big thing is, what you're experiencing now is the main thing, and that's going to continue likely. So you got to assess that situation. What's the state of now like?
Yeah, the past has happened, the present is all you have, and the future is not guaranteed to you. So in terms of time, I think that's really the most important one. And actually, our next one has to do with time too.
Number 2 is this: take away time. And the simple idea is, if you take away the time invested in this relationship, what does it look like?
Okay, so the question here is, if you could take away time, because as you said too, a lot of times when we talk about relationships, we reflect on the amount of time that we had, and we put it in quotations of investing time. At the end of the day, the most important decision that you make in your life, one of them is going to be who you decide to spend your life with, because the only resource that we have to give truly is our time. And I put this into a perspective where the person that you choose, you are giving them your life. That's dramatic. That will shock you. So think of that. You are giving this person your life. So to take away time is basically, say you're in a 2-year relationship. Things are a bit rocky. They're not exactly what you want them to be. They aren't what they were at the beginning. Take away time. Pretend in your mind that that relationship is 3 months or 6 months long, and that's usually the amount of time that we choose, and whether we want to stay in this relationship or exit it, because it's a little bit less of that investment. So take away that time, and in your mind say, my relationship, the state of it is right now, if it was at that place at 3 months, would I still be in it?
And I mean, we're talking from like your very cliche, like millennial perspective, but we've had these conversations for anyone going through this, whether it's
marriage even.
Marriage, whether it's a 1-month relationship, whether it's a 20-year or 30-year relationship, marriage. It's still something you have to consider. How is the state of things right now? Take away all of that time and just look at it from the micro instead of the macro. And we've been talking about like take away time in the past, but I also think it's important to take away time in the future. Because I often see some people say, like, I had a friend literally say this to me where he was like, I'm thinking this might not be the relationship for me, but we actually booked a trip. And it's coming up in 2 months. It's like a week-long trip here. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just ride it out until that. And look, especially in this relationship, this was a no good relationship. And it was well worth it to not go on that trip.
Did he go on the trip?
He didn't.
Wow.
Which
What
I'm
happened?
He recognized that it wasn't worth riding it out. They were in a bit of a rocky patch, and when he expressed he might go on this trip, I was like, look, this is your life, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you right now, I think that's a terrible idea. Because at that point, I think it would just cloud things more, and it was very apparent to him and others that this was not the relationship for him. But I think that's something you have to do, and I think you have to take away those pressures of you're expected to go on this trip, but I'll be wasting money if I do this. Your time is more important than your money, and when your time equals your happiness, it's so much more important.
I think too, at the end of the day, all these questions that we are telling you right now to answer for yourself, we don't have the answer for you, you have the answer for you. And in some cases, this actually may be a yes, that I want to work harder at this relationship and it deserves more work. It seems as though sometimes when people are presented questions like this, it's prefaced in the way that this is going to be a no. Like, this is just to wake me up and to be woken up to the fact that this actually isn't the right relationship for you. But in some cases, it actually might work out.
Which would be great. And in some ways, then this might just be, look, we all go through these kind of middle crises. And I wouldn't say like middle life crises, but just when you're growing and you're going through something and the beginning phase ends, it's natural to reflect back and be like, is this for me? Job, life, friends, relationship, whatever it is. And so it's important to reflect on that. But if this does wake you up and it is a good thing and you recognize this is a partner I like, great.
The only thing you're giving yourself is more time.
And you can be more grateful for it now.
Yeah. This one is one of Scott's, and this, because we were just talking about waking yourself up, this one woke me up when you said it, and it was sobering in the fact that I was thinking about a bunch of different friendships and even past relationships, and I tried to ask myself that question. Okay, go. You can take it. It's yours.
I'll just say it off the top.
Okay.
If you weren't dating this person, would you still be friends?
And you had an example.
I've had a couple of my friends actually go through this with their partners, and one friend in particular, I felt really bad because I asked him this question, and that's a hard question to ask your friend, to be like, I want you to objectively look at your partner and ask yourself this question. If you weren't dating, would you still be friends? And fortunately, he didn't.
In the state that they are right now.
Exactly. And unfortunately, he knew I was coming from a good place, and he recognized, and he didn't really have an answer. He was like, I'm not sure. But that was a scary conversation for me because I didn't want to alienate my friend. I didn't want to make him feel judged in any way, but I just wanted him to reflect back on it himself. But I will say, if you can answer that question,
that's an answer.
And that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
Huge red flag. Oof. Why would you not want? Why would you be in a relationship with someone who is not your friend?
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the advice was, well, the story was basically talking about the fact that as you grow up, you find yourself with less and less friends, but more meaningful friends, and you should find the best friend out of all of those and marry that one or be with that one. And I was like, true.
Yeah. Because you're going to spend, like you said earlier, you're investing so much time, you're giving your life, you're giving so much of yourself to this person. Why wouldn't you want it to be your friend? So if you think back for a second and say, okay, if I just met this person today and I knew about them, knew what they like, knew what they dislike, would we be friends? I will also say this. This is harder now in the smartphone app dating game age because we enter these relationships so quickly, or at least we can. Just with the swipe. And it's kind of this almost like immediate intimacy where both of you know, look, there was an attraction. We're both going on this date.
Yeah, true, because you have to swipe and then match, right?
And so you both know. That's so funny.
I didn't do it. I've never done it.
Yeah, how does
I'm like,
this work?
tell me more. What app should I download?
Yeah. So then you enter this relationship, or sorry, you go on a date or something, but both of you know there is an attraction, and your date can kind of start, boom, right from there. Sorry, your relationship can start, boom, right from there. But the thing is, there's no foundation of friendship, typically, unless you match with your friend, which could be hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm talking strangers meeting. That can be scary, because then you enter in a relationship, and if it's based off that physical attraction at first, and then you start to realize, as the dust settles of that relationship, oh, I don't think I'd really be friends with this person if we weren't in this relationship. Scary.
One thing I find too that's a bit tough about when you exit a relationship and you realize that you were never really friends to begin with and you would never really be friends too, is that you have nothing to go back to. So to exit that relationship, it seems a bit scarier because you feel like you are actually going to be losing this person. But at the end of the day, you just have to remind yourself that there's only so much time that you have and there's only so many people that you can keep close in your life, and choosing the right people in your life is really important.
Okay, good. I think you told me this one. I think it's one that I kind of had always known or some like asked friends.
It's like a subconscious knowing.
And you put it very succinctly.
Okay, so now assess your relationship. Okay, so we've decided, are we going to be friends or not? We're taking away time. But at the end of the day, now assess where you're at. Take the percentage of time that you spend together and just weigh it. Now take the whole scope of your relationship and try to decide, just black and white, what percentage of it is good and what percentage of it is bad. Because that's going to be very telling. But at the same time, I've had people tell me, and even myself, I've been in relationships where I'm like, well, like, I don't know, it's like 50-50 or like 60% is good, 40% is like kind of rocky. I just want you to take a second to think about that. If you just took 10 minutes, knowing that you had 10 minutes with this person and we just condensed that whole interaction down, 6 minutes of that would be good and 4 minutes of that would be bad. That is shocking. Like, that is actually shocking and terrifying when you ask me.
And I think I was the one who like brought up like a 50-50 perspective, and I wasn't even thinking of it that seriously. I was like, yeah, like 50-50, and you were like, think about that for a moment. Half of your time is terrible, half of your time is good.
Yeah.
That's still terrible. A big thing is you don't want to settle. There is better out there, for sure, especially in relationships, and you don't want to have half of your time be terrible.
And you have to assess why it's terrible too. And sometimes when we get in a scenario where things are 60-40 or 50-50, when things are just kind of okay, or we're just kind of going along instead of actually laughing and loving life, we will compartmentalize that into the good. Not just what should be the normal.
Because you think that's like the path to the good.
Yeah.
The bad is just how I get to the good. I just gotta like get through the bad. It's, you know, it's like 50% of the time, and then it's good.
Or you don't actually say your opinion a lot of the times because that could lead to the bad, and then this downward spiral into not actually having a healthy relationship. So I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So I have a friend, one of my best friends, his sister is a lot like a big sister to me, and she was explaining to me this 60-40 percentage that she had in a past relationship. And then she is now in a new relationship, married to her husband, and they are that hashtag goals that you talk about. And not because they're just new into their marriage, because they have a very healthy relationship and they are very compatible. And she said to me, Amanda, at the end of the day, when I look at Lee, it's like a 95-5. And usually that 5 or 10 would be because we're tired or hungry. So you have to assess as well what percentage of it in the bad category is because of something silly like that, or something human like that, or an actual personality trait.
I think the scary thing about this part is to like actually just think about it honestly. What percentage is good and what percentage is bad? Because we can lie to ourselves in these moments and be like, yeah, it's 70-30.
But still!
But actually think about it. This isn't what you're telling like your parents or your coworkers. Like, have this honest conversation with yourself. Not with your partner, obviously. Like, think just for you. How much of your time is good and how much is it bad? It's not 50-50 for me. Can I have my nose back? Number 5, and I was interpreting this differently until we talked about it. And it's when they leave, how do you feel? Go into yours and then I'll go into how I was thinking about it.
Okay, so there's 2 different things that may be going through your mind when someone leaves you. So in terms of one of the assessments of healthy and toxic love, when you're in this room with this person, you are having a face-to-face relationship, a face-to-face conversation. But when they leave, what is your level of concern or behavioral obsession? So when they leave in healthy love, it's to have a normal level of concern. So when Scott leaves and he's going to drive, I'm thinking, oh, I hope he's okay. I hope no one hits his car. Like, I hope he gets there safe.
Okay? Yeah.
But I'm not concerned about if he's driving to someone else's house. You know what I mean? Like,
who's he going to see?
Exactly.
Where is he at this exact second?
At this exact second. There's no obsessive behavioral concern. There's no mistrust there that I know of. Oh God. There's no missteps that I've been able to assess that would lead me to have an obsessive behavior. I am not going on my phone and checking social media to see when the last time he was on, to see, oh, why is he on his phone? He should be driving, or doing those little things that obviously are obsessive behavior or worrisome behavior in the whole form of mistrust. So
and flip that around too. Is your partner doing that to you? Not just for you, but is your partner always texting you, asking you, where are you? What are you doing? Weren't you going to be at that place at like half hour ago? Why did it take you so long? That's controlling and emotionally manipulative behavior. And it's not good. You should, again, this is like a generalization. If you're comfortable with that and you like that relationship with your partner, that's totally fine. But I'm just saying, if these words are ringing true in your mind and you're feeling in your heart, oh yeah, I don't really like having to check in all the time. That's when you know that's not great. Because look, you don't have to. This is your life. And what I was interpreting it is literally in that moment when your partner leaves and that you shut the door, you say goodbye. How do you feel? And if like a sense of relief washes over you, or a sense of exhaustion, that's concerning. Because you're not obligated to be with your partner. You know? It's not an obligation that you have to fulfill. And then you do that duty and they go and you're like, oh, woo, that's over with now. Yeah. Oof, that's not good. If you're feeling like that, that's another big sign that this is not the relationship for you. A positive relationship should replenish you. It shouldn't exhaust you.
And at the end of the day, we know that every single relationship is different and scenarios are different, people are different. And we just wanted to say these are a couple of questions that we asked ourselves at the ends of different relationships, obviously not the one that we are in right now, but they helped get to the final destination of deciding whether it was too bad to stay or too good to leave.
And if you have any questions you asked yourselves or you asked your friends that you feel really helped you get clarity, we'd love to hear them down below. Or if you had any questions about the things we've just posed just now, we'd love to hear about it. So you can join the discussion down below, or you can message us on our social feeds.
Yeah, and our social feeds are also found in the description. We love that you guys watch along with these videos, and we appreciate you so much. If you're going through a tough time right now, we feel for you. We've been there, and let's create a community in that comment section. As for this video, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.